Me tummy growling in things.
Welcome to the Flashing People podcast.
Hi, babies. We're back. Let me get this mic out here. It's about to be we're about to have another fire shit show going on here.
All right.
Hey, babies, we're back. It's Daddy Elmer, TNK Photo, Elmer Escobar, Scott Stockton. We're here for another episode. The streets need it. The streets. Y'all need to learn, some kind of way of going about. You've been blowing my phone up. The streets have. They've been knocking on the door, and they're like, "We need another slapper."
All right. Before we get into it, because you always surprise me with recording out of nowhere, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to put this in Do Not Disturb so nobody interrupts.
Here he goes. Elmer's left the building.
There we go. So
he's back.
I think first and foremost, I think that we should begin. I was looking at the notes, things that we wanted to discuss. And I think Scott's eBay shenanigans needs to go at the top of the list this time. Because Scott likes to stir up drama in his life. He likes things to be spicy, some would say.
Hey. Spicy hot V8 drink.
And I didn't even plan that.
We're going to keep it spicy today. Yeah, okay, so eBay shenanigans. Now your boy put himself in a little bit of a hole today on this eBay stuff.
Go on.
So the streets have been knocking on the door. They've been, blowing, my phone up, all this stuff. They said, "Hey, what's going on with eBay?" And I said, "Streets, listen. Daddy sold his Canon R5. Daddy sold his Canon RF 85 1.2. We're moving units." Yeah. The problem is your boy got a new bank account. So on PayPal, they tried to send the payout to my old bank account, which no longer exists. So now I had to call eBay and I was like, "Hey, can you just change this so that like it goes to my new account?" And they said, "No, we have to wait till it fails." And they said it could take 8 days for it to fail. Then it will come back to eBay. Then they'll let me have it sent to my new account. So your boy might be out 8 days without another body and the other lens I was going to replace that 85 with. Shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean that.
And I got shoots.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of selling things online. I'd rather just do them locally. I think that being in a market like California, Los Angeles, like it's easier to sell things because there's more people here. But yeah, it's just sending things online. I mean, I remember the eBay days back in the day when you wouldn't trust that thing at all. But now, obviously, it's a lot better. But I mean, them holding onto your money for 8 days, that's annoying. That's just because that just slows down the progress of you switching over to Sony. Continue.
Well, now you stirred up a real hornet's nest, a real shitstorm for me this week with your recordings. Yeah, been fielding some hate. I still don't know if I'm going to get rid of that Canon R6 Mark II. You disappeared, Daddy. But what I think I'm going to do is, oh, there he is.
Sorry, cut out.
I think I'm going to do R6 Mark II with all my stuff that I currently have. And then I'm going to get that 35 to 150 and the 50-1.2 on a Sony A7 IV and just be rocking with two different systems.
You are just giving your
You like that?
Although you can make
what?
You're just giving yourself a headache because although you can make the presets, so okay, if I'm shooting with Canon, this is a standard preset, so you're gonna have to bring the green all the way down. It's just a little bit. It's more work, and
I'm doing that to appease the people.
I know you are.
I'm gonna have a full blown riot on my hands if I don't do this. They can be outside my door with flames and pitchforks and whatnot.
And Canon cameras up in hand, going, "You did this to us."
Oh yeah. So, like the people out there that have Canon or heard me do reviews on the Mark II and all that stuff, listen, the reviews is still the same. It's still a great camera. It's still an amazing camera. I'm not saying that it's not, but Sony is open to third party lenses. I know Canon recently just opened themselves up for it, but I remember when Sony was doing it took Tamron and them and Sigma and them years before they actually had like a full decent lineup for you to use. Because right now, you're a sucker to using only the RF glass, which the RF glass is amazing, but it's pricey as shit. I mean, the 85 1.2 is $3,000. Like it's pricey as shit.
It's just
And so
it,
it's like, do you really want to wait? What?
I was saying it's just limiting you to options, and I think that that's a silly thing because I mentioned this on the podcast before. It's forcing you to go to a different system because they're not allowing, somebody else to come in and play.
Yeah, like the whole reason behind my switch, and like I want to say some encouraging words for the people that are using Canon. Listen,
The ones that you
I love the photos. What?
the ones that you convinced, you mean? The convince
Yeah, them.
is a software. Bamboozled, tricked.
Wow, bamboozled.
Because I bet you had somebody buy a Canon camera within the last month. Don't lie.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I can't lie. I think I did. I think I had a few cats, but I will say
Uh-huh.
I've been happy with the performance. I've been happy with the images, the raw files, everything. But they don't have that 35 to 150. And when I sold that lens, sorry Tamron, but when I sold that lens and that system to go to Canon, I was like, okay, shit is sweet. Your boy's got these primes. We're going to be cooking, and I was cooking. But going through the past few weddings and having to switch lenses repeatedly, or it just became burdensome. And then I just started remembering back to the times that I had the 35 to 150 and just remembered how like I literally could just use that for basically the whole day. I mean, you gave me a stat the other day. You were looking at a wedding,
Hmm.
and what was it? Like something like 95%, 92, 95, 98% of your images came from that 35 to 150?
I don't know the exact percentage, but I think it was like it wasn't a wedding. It was I forgot what it was. Maybe it was like an engagement or something like that. And I think it was out of 1,400 photos, I think 1,200 and change were with the 35 to 150. So
Yeah, that's
I only switched my lens for, a few of our staple wide shots. But the remainder of the day, capturing the day, like it was just one lens. And
yeah, you're looking at like 90%
mhm,
of your images came from that one fucking lens.
yeah. And I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. You know what I mean? Like maybe some of you guys shoot with the 24 to 70 and 70 to 200 combo. It doesn't feel when I use this lens like I'm missing, you know, those shots because I don't have the 24 to 70 or whatever. Like I actually, you know what? It's funny. I do have the 24 to 70. It's in the bag. It's in the backup bag. I just never use it. So like it is a great all around lens. So in conclusion, Scott, welcome home. Welcome back. Eddie Full Racks was saying that you need a T-shirt made because apparently the upside down pineapple stands for something some of you might know, and so he said upside
I don't know about it.
down.
I don't know about it, but I do know about it. So I guess upside down pineapple means you're a swinger.
So he said an upside down pineapple with a camera underneath it because that's what you do. You just swing from one to another to another to another, and we'll see you in what's today? What date? We're in June. Okay, so maybe June, July 2024. We'll be back to Canon, back to Nikon. We'll see. We'll see. Stay tuned, everyone.
Eddie Eddie Full Racks. I'm not getting. You know what? That would be a funny graphic we could put up on the Instagram if I could find an upside down pineapple
With your
and put together
animated character. You should hit up the guy again, the Russian, the one that did our logo.
Papa Ruski.
Mhm.
Yeah, have him out there. We need him to do a few things. We need a we need a logo of us with chef hats on because we be cooking. Yeah, and then we need a logo of us with holding bags, and then we need a okay. I guess we
I-
need I need an upside down.
Is it narcissistic to say that I would wear a T-shirt with that?
Which one?
All those things that you just mentioned. The two of us cooking.
Oh no, dude. Oh, I would wear that shit all the time. What are you talking about? Like a nice little like medium sized logo here. That'd be fly.
Yeah. Ask him to make. All right, guys. Anybody wants to buy any? You know, I mean, we're not making a profit off of it. Yeah, we'll sell those too.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Good idea from Eddie Full Racks. Eddie Full Racks had another idea this
I
week.
don't even know. Does Eddie know we call him Eddie Full Racks?
Nah,
Edgar.
I mean, we reposted his story and tagged him in it.
Yeah.
So yeah. No. Eddie Full Racks. Eddie Full Racks gave me some feedback this week.
Mm-hmm.
He said I needed to stop using the word cunt.
And now you see, we went 11 minutes and 5 seconds without saying it.
Yeah. But I will say, Eddie Full Racks, I respect that, and I'm gonna stop using the word.
Yeah, we had a discussion over it, and you know, we don't need to use and abuse it, but you know, every once in a while we might pepper it in. But you know, yeah, we
Yeah, it's gonna. You know what? Because I was letting it fly. It's got to be a real nasty person for me to let it fly going
you
forward.
were getting reckless. Just
Let's get
yeah,
you right. You all over it. Your boy was just reckless abandon, just throwing it, slapping anybody with the C word, and we can't do that. That's a special word that is reserved for a very special few.
yes.
So any feedback y'all ever have, send it our way. We appreciate it. And, sometimes feedback isn't comfortable to hear, but
Well, on a serious
after we talked about it and I'm thinking about it, I understand.
note, and this is one thing that I told Scott, is one thing that we always discuss, is that true friends, and Eddie Fulrax, we see you as a friend. You know what I mean? Like, so when a friend gives you feedback, it's because they care about you. They care about where you're going. They care about, you going further in your career or life, whatever. A good friend is going to call you out on stuff. And I think that that's kind of, we were talking about it, and I'm like, that's where it comes from. Like, people want to see you want to see you do well, and for that reason they'll give you feedback. Otherwise they just stop listening. You know what I mean? Like that's how I look at, or stop being friends with you, or stop talking to you, whatever the case may be.
I love that I do love that we're referring to him as Eddie Full Racks every time.
Dude, if
He did it.
you get Boris to do animation, maybe have Eddie Full Racks on the side with the full racks.
Yeah. Yeah, if somebody's out there that knows how to do graphic design, if y'all want to put the boys in chef hats or money bags or Eddie Full Racks, anything y'all want to send us, we're good with it. Um, yeah, no. And you know what? I was at the clubhouse gym this week. You ready for
Let's
this?
hear
Multiple machines, full racks. See about me in the clubhouse. The bench machine,
it.
full rack. Leg machine, full rack. So I'm up there now. Now I'm probably not doing that full rack on the LA Fitness kind of system,
You want
but that clubhouse,
the
they know about me.
you don't want to do the leg press?
No, what you posted up the other day was you would have had your boy in a full body cast,
I think
and you know it.
it was only like 720, I think.
Can you buy new legs like on the black market? Like if something were to happen, if I were to lose my legs in a gym accident, could I buy new legs?
Yeah, we might have to go shopping for that. But what other topics did we have? Because we kind of bounce around in that list that we make. So the first one that popped up was the eBay shenanigans, because of the stuff that you've been getting into this week.
Yeah, and I'm just angry that like I can't touch that money until they sort this shit
Well,
out. You also have
really,
oh, I can't so like that's 5 grand I can't touch until apparently my old bank account needs to fail to send it back to them for 5 grand. So I can't replace my shit until then. So I have an engagement shoot on Wednesday. I'm gonna have to rent a lens. I'm not happy about this. I played myself. The logistics of this, I played myself. You're freezing. Oh, he's frozen. Let me see if I can unfreeze them. It's not working. Did we lose Elmer? Okay, good. We're back to the Flashing Person podcast. It's your boy Scott Stockton. I am going to look at these topics because he has something here. He's touching on budget airlines with special guest, his fiance Angelique. Now, for people that don't know, I mean, I don't know if bougie's the right word, but she liked to be comfortable on airlines. Now, me, I'm good with a budget airline. I'm good with Spirit. And I joke about Spirit and I shit on Spirit quite a bit, but I'm still good with Spirit because I understand. You have to understand when you get into a relationship with Spirit Airlines, Fusion, you have to understand the pluses and minuses. Yeah, it's going to be a shit show. Yeah, you may not land. You have to be comfortable with that. And to be comfortable with that, you're going to be comfortable with the price. Because when I flew to California for East Coast to far West Coast, it only cost your boy $200 for a round trip ticket. That's pretty crazy. Like I'm pricing something out to meet Elmer and Angelique down in Miami, and this shit's $50 for a round trip. It was like $56 for a round trip ticket to Miami. And then they want to get you. They want to get you with that gotcha. With the you got to pay another $50 to check a bag in. But for a short trip like that, like my camera bag, the Peter McKinnon bag, it's got an extended pouch kind of area you can extend and toss like all your clothes in. I'm just carrying all my clothes on. I mean, in Miami, I don't plan on wearing many clothes to begin with, so I might not have to pack much. So that's my take on Spirit. We're gonna check Elmer. Angelique's going to come on. It looks like she's going to be a guest, a little guest on the podcast here to weigh in, and she's going to shit on everything I just said, and I'm good with that. But yeah, man, if I can pay pennies to get anywhere in the country, and Spirit's weird. Like they have this like their tray that folds out. You could get like a full blown tray on most airlines, but Spirit gonna give you that half tray. They're gonna give you that half tray. You boys been talking about Spirit. Now you said because you said budget airlines with special guest Angelique, so she gonna have to weigh in. But I'm telling the people that I fucks with Spirit, even though you may not land. There's not much of a tray situation, and the flight attendants are old and they're gonna hit on you. It's all good because
I mean, that's
$200 round trip.
Scott,
What's
I'm
that?
gonna pop in and out one more time, all right?
Oh, he's popping out.
All right, I'll be right back.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, he says he's popping out, but I still see him.
All right, I'm back. Wait, I'm still on this one. There we go. This is a real professional setup, isn't it? All right, let me
Welcome to the Professional Boys podcast.
Let me fill everybody in on the nonsense that happens, okay? So this laptop, right? MacBook Pro, you would think it would be a good laptop. I've had it for a very long time because I never edit on laptops, but I don't have anything on it. There's not a single program on it. And not even Lightroom. Like I don't leave anything on. There's no photos on it. There's no videos. There's nothing on it. And yet it tells me that it's completely full. I have no idea what the hell that could be or why it could be. Maybe somebody could fill us in on that. But yeah, so that one's useless now. I'm gonna get rid of it. And then this stupid phone decided that it wanted to overheat while we were talking downstairs. So that's why it cut me out. So I'm back upstairs because it's my actual, home office. The downstairs area was just for podcasting and YouTube videos. But yeah, thank you everybody for listening to my.
Is Eddie Full Racks? Is Eddie Full Racks Edgar Garcia?
Yeah.
He just commented on my that model shoot I just posted. He says, "Was this your last shoot with the R5?" What a Eddie Full Racks on it. Yeah, it was.
He's coming with that heat.
He be paying attention. Eddie Full Racks be paying attention.
I'm looking dark as a motherfucker here.
Oh, well, let's touch on this budget airlines because I just weighed in and said, "Hey, I fucks with Spirit. Anytime I can keep flights cheap, like I've never been on a flight on Spirit and really been like, man, I'm really uncomfortable on this flight. Like I just fall asleep.
All right, please hold. My love. Monkey.
Oh Lord, this about to get.
We
she
need
about
your
to-
opinion. Scott is talking about airlines. In the meantime, until she gets here, let me see here.
You see what I got here?
What do we got here?
This air compressor. This is to blow the hate away when she gets on here.
You're gonna need more than that.
I'm gonna need a broom. I gotta sweep it away. Yeah, no. So for all my people out there, sell your Canon gear, but also fly Spirit Airlines.
I love to hear you just talking to the mic if you don't want to get your face in it. Scott was saying that he doesn't mind taking a chance, or what was it?
Well, Spirit Airlines, she doesn't want to get her face in it?
She's I don't know. Come here.
No, go ahead. Sit talk.
Go on.
So I'm telling people we're talking budget airlines for your shoots. I'm saying I'm Spirit approved. It can be dodgy, and you get half a tray, and you may or may not land. It could be your last flight. These are things that you have to take into account when you fly Spirit, but it's cheap as shit, and I fucks with that. You want to weigh in?
Thoughts?
Okay, I'd like to see your bank statements, and I would like to start with the arrival at the airport and what purchases were made prior to boarding, i.e., including luggage, drinks, food.
Rewind with drinks. That was a point that we were discussing last night, and she might have you with this one, Scott, because that might have evened everything out.
Let me finish. I would like to see bank statements so that we can tally the total that you spent to arriving to the airport, also while being at the airport, and your
Please hold.
luggage.
Being at the airport for about 5 or 6 hours each time. Continue.
And then I would like to see the tally of the Uber that you also include to the hotel from the airport that you've chosen that only accepts landing by these budget airlines.
Versus landing a little closer, and then we'd pick you up. So you would save about $100 right there.
But wait, I'm not finished.
Oh, she's not done.
No, I'm not finished. So plus also adding the cost of your budget flight price.
Stop using the word budget.
I was gonna say, you heard that she put a little stank on budget. You
Yeah,
heard that,
she's
right?
being disrespectful with that.
And then I would also like to tally up the time spent at, getting to your gate early while pushing and shoving and standing in line A, B, or C with the anxiety of not knowing where you're sitting and possibly being stuck in the middle seat in between people that you would not prefer to be sitting in between. And
All right, I think that's enough.
Wait a minute, but now why do you need to see all the things that I spend on my way to the flight? Because even if I flew American or something like that, I'm still going to be spending money on all that shit to begin with.
That's a very good
I'm sorry. No, if you fly priority and you spend and you don't get a non-refundable ticket, you get free drinks on the entire flight. You also get access to the priority lounge. You also get free luggage, and you also get access to board through priority, through security, which equals time, and time is money.
And she said without the peasants. She said that underneath all that. Come on.
Wow. She said with
We understand that there are pavos in this world, and there's also non-pavos.
you put together a nice little case here, but I'm going to call rubbish on most of it.
I would like to see the bank statements, and we can circle back because I.
All right, you know what? That's for next week. We're gonna see that. Yeah. We're gonna see how much you spent to loop around so you can fly in that yellow airplane, and we're gonna put it on the podcast.
All right,
how much you spent versus if you went with a regular airline and how much that would have been.
Next week, we're walking through my bank accounts and my taxes.
All right, well, that was a nice little episode.
Thanks, Angelique. But you had you definitely had some stank on your with your voice and your attitude towards.
Yeah, every time she said budget.
Every time she said budget, there was something in there. Oh, is she back?
I am also available to educate your 4 viewers with.
4 Hey, we got more than 4. Get the fuck out of here. No, that's disrespectful.
Don't you do that. Don't you do that. We have 94 followers. Thank you.
Wait, what?
We're at 94, Daddy. We about to once we get a hundy, we might have to do some sprint videos.
So
The
wait,
boy-
I'd just like to say one last thing. I can educate people on what credit cards to purchase in order to not even have to purchase your flights with your, so you can just, get free flights with points.
How
I'm
does Spirit
listening.
take that?
Spirit does not take points.
Oh wow. Well,
They're
he's
not
out. He's out. Look at
affiliated-
his face.
they're
He's
not
out.
affiliated with American Express.
Oh wow. There was some stank to that too. I heard it.
Yeah, you got a lot of nerve, Angelique.
I haven't flown. I didn't spend one penny on flights on my last 2 trips.
Well, yeah, but you're also a baller and people pay for your shit. What are you talking about?
I just went to go see my dad and I went to go see my best friend. I didn't pay for one flight.
I thought our best friend was right here looking at us through the screen.
Was in the
Yeah.
same state as one of our best friends, but he decided not to come over.
Well, yeah. Why didn't you visit when she was with her dad?
I had
Silence.
that was the middle part. That was the beginning middle part of the week, right?
I don't know.
I think it was.
It was the beginning, and he had an invitation with even a boat ride.
Oh,
and
kind of
still
like
didn't
when
show up.
we visited him.
Yeah,
over
we
there.
had to drive to him.
Oh, yeah, I
because
remember
he
that.
said he was too tired, and we surprised
Also,
him.
Oh, yeah,
I have a
that's great.
firm policy of never going to visit my best friend's girls by myself.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Okay, you know what? You know what? Son of a bitch.
That-
Yeah.
Did I nail it? That's the best answer.
That was a
100%.
good speak away.
You want to FaceTime? We can FaceTime.
Pop out.
All right, she's just gonna get you angry. So let's move on.
Yeah, she just it's just negativity when she gets on here towards me. And then she said, "Why you wouldn't want to come see me in Raleigh?" Well, listen to the attitude you just gave me. I want to drive 3 hours to to get peppered with more of that.
Oh my goodness. All right, so budget airline with special guest Angelique, that one's done. Let me delete that.
And apparently, we're running through my bank accounts next week.
Yeah, and Scott's eBay shenanigans. We did skip one thing. We skipped the wonderful review that you got. Would you like to read it out to the people?
Oh my goodness. Let me find this thing. Yeah. So there was a few. I couldn't find what I called him. I went through all the messages and just couldn't find it. But it must have been something glorious.
Pure animal behavior.
And sometimes you gotta let motherfuckers know what time it is.
So to fill people in, something probably went sideways, and Scott decided to speak his mind.
Okay. Let me see all the feedback. Okay. Where Well, there's one that said seller did not honor purchase agreement. Fuck out of here. That's rubbish. Hold on. Why can't I find this? See all. Where's my eBay screen? Boy, we're running a real professional operation here.
How much shit have you sold on eBay that you can't find it? If I went to it, it would be like 4 transactions.
Oh, dude, I've sold so. Dude, you come on now. We just talked about how often I switch systems. Okay, so this cocksucker said the seller called me a vulgar, sexually explicit language in place of my name. Yeah, he did. And then you know what? We got to shout out our boy, my man Eddie, photo_Eddie. He said, "Fuck around and find out." You damn right. He fucked around and he found out that day. He found out real quick. I think I just called him a pussy. I think he was complaining about something, and I think I just said something like, "Stop being a pussy and just like accept the lens." Like, what are you doing?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's those people probably that look at it through like a microscope, like to see every little tiny little speck, and it's like, if it's not affecting the image quality, who really cares? Like there's been some lenses that in the past where I would shoot and they had a scratch here and there, and it's like, it doesn't affect the image like at all. Like I shot it from f2.8 to f22, and there was nothing. So it's like, who gives a shit? Like it's just cosmetics.
Well, see, and this wasn't even a case of that. This was I've had people complain because I didn't add in the manual. You know how lenses come with like a little
You're
manual?
kidding.
Yeah, and I'm like, are you gonna take better photos if I send you the manual? I don't know where the manual's at. Like when I open up a box with a lens, I just be throwing shit away. I just throw stuff
I
out,
throw out
grab the
boxes.
lens.
I throw out boxes, dude. It infuriates me when someone doesn't have a box. I'm like, no, like what the fuck do you want me? Because there was one time I remember cleaning out my closet, and there was probably like a 4 or 5 foot tower of boxes. I go, what the hell am I doing with this? I got rid of every single box, and I said, screw it. If somebody wants to buy it, they can buy it. At that point, I feel like I probably made enough money with that lens where like I'll let it go for cheap. Every time I sell my equipment, I always sell it for cheap because I'm like, whatever. I've gotten use out of it. I've made a good living out of it for at least a few years. What do I care? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I keep them because I sell them so quick.
You don't say.
Yeah, like this. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna make a video about the Tamron 70 to 200 because I have to. I'm not. I'm not feeling it, dog.
Really? I
Like,
thought it was. Huh?
I mean, it's good. It's just, I just like if you got a fast prime or you have something that can give you a little bit more functionality, like the 35 to 150, you can go from wide to tight. 70 to 200 is still kind of tight to tight as shit because
See,
it's
but I do think the 200 has a very pretty look. Like
it
you don't need
does,
a
but
prime.
like I'm like
Mhm.
over the years that I've been shooting, I just don't like. I've grown accustomed to not liking to be that far away from whatever I'm shooting, which is mostly people. Like that's why like when I sold that 85 because I've kind of learned to prefer that if I'm shooting a prime, the 50 over the 85 because I get to be a little closer to the couple or whoever I'm shooting. I just feel like there's more of a connection.
And I think it's a difference in style between you and I because I like that long, compressed look. I feel like it gives you that blurry background, like everything just looks very like, you know, mushy behind them and then they're very sharp. Like I do like that. The way that I shoot actually, and I tell the team, and that's why I guess like your and our style is a little different when you look at our photos, is I tell them start at 150, run all the way back, get your full length with the 150. And then, if you're doing walking, then you can zoom out as they're walking towards you so you get more opportunities to shoot. But generally speaking, we aim towards the more zoom side if we're not doing one of our, signature wide shots.
Yeah, like I blow. I mean, I'll get mushy back. I mean, like the 85 at 1.2, the background's blown the fuck out.
There is a difference though in not yes in compression but also in the way in proportions. So we've all seen it. If you're a photographer, you've probably seen this gif, on Instagram or whatever, where it shows the compression and the differences in the focal length. So when
Yeah,
you're at 24 versus 50 versus 85 versus 105, 135, 200, there is a difference in the way that it looks. In my personal opinion is I do think that people look better on the longer end. So if somebody looks better on the longer end, why not use that cheat code of making them look their best at that longer length and then maybe mix it up with some other ones. But I mean, you guys know I'm not a big fan of primes to begin with.
I think I've just become a. I don't know, like year after year, I've just changed. I used to never use a 50, and
Mhm.
I used to shit on 50s. But over the past 2 years, I've kind of like fell in love with that focal length a lot more with a prime. Obviously, I can get 50 on that 35 to 150, but I do love it at 1.2 and blowing out a background if I can. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know, like it was like, and also like the 70 to 200 with the adapter on it for the Canon, it was just, and I've made fun of people complaining about size, but it's a fucking unit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's adding extra length to an already long lens. And I mean, I'm not a fan of using adapters. I don't know how good it is. Is it like very like does it not slow you down at all?
It's been quick autofocus. However, just because the autofocus has been quick, There's many times it hasn't nailed it.
Oh, so it takes it even though it's not fully locked.
It's locked on, and then I don't see till later in Lightroom that, hey, some of these it missed.
See, and one thing that I do is sometimes like most of the time I'm using um tracking focus. So if somebody's moving forward or backwards, it's going to keep refocusing. So that's usually my like the way that I keep things a little safer. So it's going to keep refocusing as I'm shooting. You see what I'm saying? Instead of AFS or whatever Canon calls it, where it's locking, and then if they move forward or backwards, it's not going to refocus. So to me, I find that the easier way to make sure that things are going to be in focus and sharp is to use that tracking mode. So if you're moving forward, you're moving backwards, the camera is continually, refocusing.
I'm gonna have to relearn this Sony system.
Well, I mean, don't get too married to it. You might switch over soon. So, just learn the basics.
Man, I'm just gonna be a guru. They're just gonna be able to hire me to just make manuals for all the camera systems because your boys done used them all. That'd be kind of
Ridiculous.
tight.
Oh
What
my
what you
goodness.
got going on this weekend? You got weddings? What's going on?
Yeah, so tomorrow we actually have two weddings. One of them we've had for some time, and then the other one we just booked like 3 weeks ago. Did we talk about this in the podcast or no?
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, so what ended up happening is another photography studio really dropped the ball like bad. Um, and so she was reaching out to see, who would be available. And luckily with us, if I'm not available, I had the team available. So I was already booked somewhere else, but I had one of our photographers that was going to be shooting with us. He's also one of our lead photographers. I said, screw it, let's move him over there. We grabbed another second shooter, put him over there, grabbed another assistant, put him over there, and then I have another photographer with me. So we were able to shift things around. Um, but yeah, now we ended up having two weddings tomorrow instead of just one. And it was because we were ready for it. We have photographers and staff, and two, because some people just don't run things efficiently. Basically, what the problem that she told me that they were having with that studio is that she was originally supposed to have a photographer. They didn't tell that photographer that he was going to be shooting the wedding, that it was just going to be the engagement session. So he ended up booking something else, which you can't blame him for that. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
somebody's not telling me I'm booked, I'm going to go and book it. And then they switched it to somebody else, which okay, fair enough. You're still doing the right thing. But every time that she would try to call this photographer, they wouldn't pick up. It would go straight to voicemail. It wouldn't even ring. It would go straight to voicemail. And then every time she would try to speak with the studio, they would give her a runaround to try to make an appointment to actually talk to them. And I'm like, what do you mean an appointment? Call me. Let's talk. Let's figure this out. So, long story short, or long story long, she was tired of it, and she was at a point where she went, "Are they even going to show up?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to stir up the pot or put any fear in you, but it's like that's not a good feeling that you want to have on your wedding day. Are my vendors showing up? Then
Yeah.
you're going to show up. You're going to have two mariachis show up, just like we talked about earlier.
The dueling mariachi bands. Yeah. Yeah, that's not a good feeling. You definitely don't want to feel like that the day, one of the biggest days of your lives, waking up wondering if your fucking photographer's going to show up.
And I think honestly, Scott, like that's one of the biggest things that I try to reiterate is with photographers is we're in the industry of customer service. If you're a photographer, you should already know how to shoot. That should go without saying. So you're not really focusing on that because that is already ingrained in you.
Yeah.
What you're focusing on is making sure that they're comfortable and that they're happy because that's what's going to grow your business from a business standpoint. So get out there, try something creative, have fun with things but that's on the back burner. The main focus is making sure that your couples are happy so your business continues to grow.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. No, I think we did talk briefly about it when we were talking about how to learn from other people's mistakes. But I might need to get a team because I like this week I turned away a few weddings all because I was already booked for it.
Yeah, and I mean that's I've always been very adamant about having strong people around you because I'm not going to be able to do everything by myself. There's a limit, right? So if we're shooting, let's say 80, 90 weddings a year, how the hell am I going to have a moment to myself at all if I'm doing every single little thing and updating the website and answering emails and doing all that. Like, it's impossible. And
Yeah.
physically impossible if there's multiple bookings in one weekend. I think this month we have like 3 or 4 weekends where we have, multiple photographers going out.
Yeah.
So it's not easy. That's one thing that I definitely, if you're a photographer listening to this, and you've probably experienced this working with people and they're a pain in the ass, and like you're like, damn, now how am I going to trust this person to go out and shoot with my name behind it or our name behind it and hope that they're going to do a good job? And the only way is to be very, very adamant about who you hire. One thing that I'm huge on is I'll hire, I'll have somebody try out with us, see how we like them. And if that feeling isn't there, I go, we don't have to force it. I hope you do well. I hope you do well on your own, but it may just not be the right fit with us, because now I'm putting everybody on the team to carry that or to deal with that same energy that this person may bring that's not great. And it may just not be great for us, because everybody in our team has a very similar dynamic and a very similar energy. So I just want to keep
Yeah.
that positivity going.
I want to learn. Yeah, I got to learn from that. Like, what you're doing makes so much business sense, and you've been doing it for a while. I think I need to start doing that. Like, instead of turning away business, adding to the team, creating a team so that I get to keep the business and they get to get paid as well, and everybody eats, and not handing it out to somebody else.
And that's another thing that I was going to say is like is even like, yes, of course, obviously it's a business, so we're trying to run out of profit and all that good stuff, but it's also teaching good people something that they can use. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was talking to Caitlin, actually. She was assisting me a few days ago, and she said that last month was the first month that she paid every single one of her bills with money that came from photography. And that makes me happy, because I go, that's step one. When you gain that confidence that you can pay your bills with something that you enjoy doing, that's going to drive you to do it even more. And if that, and it just snowballs from there. And she's not the first person that said that, you know what I mean? So if you can give that to somebody and put positive people out there to go and shoot, that's a win-win situation for everybody. I promise, guys, next time I'm either going to have a new laptop downstairs, or I'll set up the lighting in here so it looks similar, because right now I don't like, I want it to look somewhat professional, so it
I don't
doesn't
even
look
have my
like,
light on, so I look like shit
I
today.
know, I see that. Oh, we see that. We all see it,
Well,
Scott.
it happened from like when we started the podcast, it was still bright out. And as it's progressed, the sun has set on the East Coast. So like it just went from light to shit.
See, but that's why, if you guys are listening, if you're doing, photography or posting anything online, this is why downstairs, that's why I set up my setup downstairs, because down there I can shoot in the middle of the day, in the middle of the afternoon, in the middle of the evening, and it's always going to look the same, because I turn on the one light that throws a blue in the back, and then I have a softbox in the front. So no matter where I am, it's always looking exactly the same. So for you, I
Controlled
would say,
lighting.
yeah, close the blinds and then just turn the lights on. So that way it always looks the same.
Oh, I don't have blinds. Money.
That's for the next episode.
Uh,
Everybody, we need a GoFundMe for Scott. We need to get some blinds.
some blackout curtains,
Blinds for
maybe.
Scott. Yep. All right. Well, I think
Well,
we're gonna call it here.
next episode, I'll have my tax documents and my bank account information because Angelique wants to run through this with everybody really quick.
Yes, please do. And we are actually gonna do it. We're gonna tally it up, the
No, we're not.
expenses with Stu.
No, we're
No,
not.
we're doing that.
Boy, it's getting grainy on me.
Yeah. We're the Flashing People podcast with no off-camera lighting. Bye, everybody.
We love you. Bye.